Hey guys, welcome to today's episode of Talking Decon. With me, I'm honored to have Steve Miller here on my left and Steve Wolf on my right. I've got the Steves. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. You guys kind of mentioned that you'd like to hear some of my stories.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
What are you interested in? Let me
everything.
So for me, for sure, I'm super interested in the undercover stuff.
Right.
Because like the whole situation seems unbelievably tense and incredibly stressful. And I know you did undercover as a prostitute and in narcotics.
Right.
So I'd like to hear about both of them, but let's kick it off with some sex worker talk.
Okay, so I was undercover prostitute, right, on the street. And this was the one and only time this has happened. And this is probably why I'll never forget it. This child molester van pulls up, but it was one that actually had the windows that looked like maybe you could live in it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The panel van, but it had the windows. Remember the curtains?
Yes,
Yep.
yeah.
So
yeah.
this van
Classy.
pulls up, and I'm like, f***ing great. Well, in the driver's seat was this old man. In the passenger seat was an old woman. And I thought, oh, they're asking me fucking directions or something like that. Well, yeah, stop and get the prostitute. He's literally hooked up to oxygen, okay? She's in the passenger seat, and he leans over and goes, "How much for a good time?" And I looked at both of them. I'm like, is this for real? Like, am I getting punked here?
Right.
And I go, for you or both of you? And he goes, both of us, get in. And the first thing I thought was, dude, if your heart rate goes up that high, you're going to die.
My
There's
captain
no
sitting
way.
in the car around the corner laughing his ass off at me.
I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I thought I was getting punked. It was
Yeah.
f***ing legit. We actually arrested him.
Well, you have to.
They were in their 80s.
I hate hearing that. I so want to be done with sex by the time I'm like 65.
Oh,
If I could just
God.
not care
Yeah.
about sex, that'd be great.
Well, and you have a
More things done.
partner. She's
Yeah.
sitting right there.
That is wild, man.
I was like, you've got to be, this is and
Obviously, they have enough mobility that they can at least get in a van.
Right.
So
oh, they weren't nervous at all. You can tell this was not their first
No.
time.
I don't think you
No.
start with sex workers in your 80s.
No. So apparently they like the group sex thing, and that was their thing. But I was like the laughing stock of the department after that,
course.
where they're like, "Hey, how's the geriatric prostitution ring?" It's like, "Yep, me right here. That's who I attract. 80-year-olds."
Did you have to get into the van with them?
No.
No?
Oh,
So
no.
you just like, once they agree to a price or spending money.
Meet me
that's
around
it?
the corner, and I'll walk in
Okay.
to the van. But
Yeah.
when he went around the corner, he met a
Wow.
300-pound guy that was ready to,
Right.
bench press him. So, yeah, they were foobarred.
As an undercover sex worker, were there any scary moments where you got close?
A ton.
Yeah?
A ton, yeah. Especially the guys that would come up on foot. Because then
Ooh.
I was at a big disadvantage, of course,
They
because
can
you're by
get you right
yourself.
there,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. You can get you by yourself. So when they're in the car, I have some distance between me.
Right.
And it's very natural for me to say, this is a busy street, meet me around the corner. Completely natural to do that.
Yeah.
So a lot of them weren't suspicious. But when you came up on me, like on foot, it was, it's hand to hand right there.
I'm so curious about this because I think like a lot of people, like when I hear anything about undercover, I'm immediately like super intrigued.
Yeah.
And then also super nervous for everybody involved. Well, not the criminals, but for the officers involved.
Yeah.
What was it like the first time going out to do this? Like what was your mindset like? How was your body feeling?
were you like sweating, palm sweaty, like, oh my gosh, I'm about to do this?
I can remember it because I did this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I did it probably for over 3 years. So
Wow. I
yeah,
didn't realize you did it for that long.
yeah, I did it
Damn.
quite a bit. So I did prostitution for a while, and then I did narcotics for a while. And narcotics is far more stressful than
Okay.
prostitution by far, and it's probably because again, there's a car between you and I.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt more comfortable. When I'm undercover narcotics, I'm walking into a crack house. It's just me and probably 15 dudes
Yeah.
in there. So it's very, very nerve-wracking. And, you have to be very careful about our normal reactions, just normal, who we are. Like if you see something gross, your face would probably go like this. You have to be very cognizant of that.
Right.
So
because-
when I see babies on the floor with their diapers and poop coming out and there's maggots in it, I can't do what I would normally do and go pick up that baby and run.
Right.
I can't do that. And there's an inner struggle in my head. Like I'm going to get caught. Like I start to panic. Like I'm looking at it.
Right.
And yet I'm supposed to be focused on, so I'm not supposed to care, because most addicts wouldn't care. They would come in and go, oh, baby, whatever. Or how much to buy the baby.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
I just need my rock or whatever. Yeah.
So I want to kind of tie that into what we do. So do you think that's helped you
Yes.
in your situations where you walk into a hoarding house, the resident is there, and you're like being empathetic, I can't show any emotion or maybe disgust to the situation,
but it's different because, like, when I was in narcotics, I had to have a photographic memory. I had to count how many steps did I actually walk up before I got to the door. Little details like that matter. How many dogs were there? Are they on a chain? Are they behind a fence? Are they loose? How many kids? Where did he pull the drugs from? How many people were in the house and what did they look like? I have a split second to scan that room and memorize it.
Inventory everything.
Yep. And this was, of course, before iPhones and voice to text, where I could actually record my thoughts. So I had to literally, every time, and I still count myself doing it. Every time I walk upstairs, I'm counting them.
Really?
And I can't break that habit.
Training is just in there.
Yeah,
huh?
it's in there, and it drives me insane. And then when they disappear to go get the narcotics, that is very nerve-wracking, because they're allegedly going to get your stuff, but you don't know what they're coming back with.
Yeah.
So you can't follow them. So I'm just standing there, and I'll tell you, a minute seems like a year. You're just standing there, and you're like, he could come back with a shotgun, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. And then, you have to go back and go, I don't know where he got it from, but he walked 20 steps to the bedroom on the right.
Yeah.
And then you have to figure it out that way.
And were you buying crack? Like
Yeah.
a bunch of crack?
Crack, meth, weed.
It's so hard for me to imagine, like
I wish I would have taken a
up to me,
picture.
I'd be like, what? You're not a crackhead.
No, but what I did, and I think I've talked about this in some of the other videos, is it's really easy for the male undercover officers to just grow out their hair and their facial stuff, and they automatically look homeless.
Yeah.
For a woman, it's very, very different, right? Because I'm not going to live my personal life like I'm working on the streets.
Yeah.
So I had to get creative, and there was this stuff called blackout, and it looks like nail polish, and I would take it and black out some of my teeth to look like I don't have teeth in those areas. Then that particular day I wouldn't bathe, and I would put like coconut oil in my hair.
Yeah. Oh, greasy
Make
it up.
it greasy.
Yeah.
Make it really greasy. And another thing that I did is I wore the same exact clothes for 1.5 years without washing them. And I left them in my basement or my front area there, and I would literally just pull them up, and I was like, my own scent of that was just, it was difficult to take. So between that, and then I have some family members that are mentally challenged, so I'm very familiar with the interaction and the mindset, so I spoke in that manner.
Oh, wow.
Like I was mentally challenged, and they bought it.
Really?
Every time.
Did
Every
you
time.
see your health wane as you
Yes.
it grew, the odor of your clothes grew and stuff? You're just like, okay.
Well, because, the city that I was working in required that we also live there. So I'm buying drugs in this city, and I'm supposed to go to my grocery store on my days off at the same city. The stress was out of control. Out of control. And it was, you don't sleep a lot. It just, at the end of the day, it wasn't worth it.
Always looking over your shoulder.
Always looking over your shoulder.
Because somebody goes, wait a second, I recognize
I know
her.
you from somewhere.
Oh, we were in the milk aisle yesterday.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And if you get discovered while you're walking into a crack house, man, that's a bad day.
Yeah.
That's a bad day. Your chances of getting out aren't
I
good.
imagine it's your last.
It might be
good
your last.
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a partner. He and I would kind of ride together, but we would have to go into houses alone. And, of course, I always had to prove something because I was the only female in the narcotics unit. So I didn't want to be that person that was like, I'll wait in the car, you go do it.
No.
That's not fair.
Yeah.
If you do it, I have to do it too. So, I went in there just like he did, but he had a gun pulled to his head and he had to smoke meth.
Oh.
And then I had to get him to the hospital to detox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Luckily, that has not happened to me.
Yeah.
Thank God. But it was a close call. I'll tell you, it was close.
I mean, what are you going to do? You have to.
Well, and you know,
mean,
we have no wire, and we have no gun on us
There's
most
no
of the time.
support?
Your support is, if I don't come out in 5 minutes, come in.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
5 minutes is a lifetime.
5 minutes is a life. You
Yeah.
know, yeah, a lot can happen in 5 minutes.
'Cause
So
I'm like everybody else, like most people watching this, you know, it's, oh, there's a van outside and you got support team around the corner and the helicopter's above you and no, you're solo.
That is a complete myth. I mean, that you could do that on big bus, but
Right.
we were at street level, you know, and you don't have that support. I mean, they might
budget
have
for it,
that now, but we didn't have that support. And then, you know, you use snitches too, and snitches will get you in places. But, you know, a couple years ago, I found out that my snitch was murdered.
Really?
And she was my snitch for many years.
Oh,
And she was, you know, super cool, mom on the block.
yeah.
She just knew everything because she was the mom on the block.
Right.
And I found out that she was murdered after I left. So it was, you know, a sad day.
Yeah. I wonder if she was murdered
we
for
spent
that.
a lot, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time together, you know, her getting me into places. You know, it's a disadvantage to be Caucasian
I would imagine.
when you're,
yeah.
you know, buying crack cocaine, which is, you know, typically a black drug. Meth is typically white.
Right.
So meth was pretty simple. But the problem with meth is that I don't have sores. And I'm not,
Right, you're not
razor
picking at
thin.
yourself
And I'm
or-
not
yeah.
razor thin. So that's challenging
Yeah.
to blend in with them.
Because that has a real distinct look.
Oh,
Meth does,
no
like, you see
question.
those-
Meth mouth.
Those, yeah, meth
Yep.
mouth and those.
Well, I could do my
faces of
teeth
meth
like
and-
that,
yeah.
but I can't. I mean, I would have to have a makeup artist to do my face like that. And, you know, I was very fit back then, so I had to wear very, very baggy clothes so that people wouldn't see my legs and, you know, things
Right.
like that. Because I could put coconut oil in my hair and it would be fine. But, you know, I shave.
Yeah.
Probably most meth heads aren't shaving their legs, you know,
Yeah, they
things
got
like
better
that.
Things to do, or
But you guys
or they
probably-
half shaved it and got
Right.
distracted by something else.
Right, but you got to think of things that you normally wouldn't think of.
Right.
And
Because that's what they're looking for.
it's exactly
That's
what they're
those
looking
dealers
for.
are looking for. Where's that
Right.
spot? What's weird? Something
Right.
you know, because that's their survival instinct to
Right.
stay on the street and not go to jail.
I think it's much more difficult for a female undercover because it's harder for us to disguise our appearance
Sure.
and appear disheveled and stuff. So I had to do those alternative things. And again, I had no one to base it off. I was the only female in the unit. So I was kind of creating shit as I went along.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, let's see if this works. And it was probably a good 6 months into it where I was like, I can act like, you know, my family members here that are, you know, just mentally challenged, the way they think, the way they talk and things like that. And that actually worked. People just assumed that I was mentally challenged.
Nobody would do this. No cop would do this, right? So this becomes, you
yeah.
know,
Yeah.
wow. Wow, that is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I'm saying. There's a book there, Laura.
Definitely.
Oh my God. That brings back a lot of memories. And the prostitution part was actually fun. I found that fun. The narcotics part, the last word I would use would be fun.
Yeah, that sounds it.
It was not fun.
I mean, I would imagine you got to see a lot of John's faces
Yeah.
when they realize that you were a cop. I mean, I can't imagine
Yeah.
what must happen.
They mostly all cry.
And
they
their
all
life
mostly-
must fall apart.
Yeah,
If
well-
they're married.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most of them are.
And it's
most,
always their first time, right?
Yeah, they always say it's their first time when you know it's not.
Come on.
Yeah, some of them I got twice in one night. He literally, because you just get a ticket, you're out.
Right.
This moron comes back. And I'm like, I just fucking busted you. I busted him again.
Yes.
Same corner.
He just didn't correlate the fact that, oh, I got busted for you? Like he must have been shopping.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, you were the one?
Oh,
Ah,
yeah.
you got me, bro.
Yeah.
You were actually
All
like
right.
the fourth in the night.
And at that point, do they give him another ticket and let him
Yep.
go get her?
Yep.
Here's another ride on the
Yep.
on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah. Yeah. So the penalty is just nothing. And,
Right.
you know, to be quite honest, it's a waste of taxpayer resources.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that. Like,
No.
you know, like that's what we talked about before. Like, I'd much rather see sex work be legalized and
Yep.
regulated. And,
I agree.
You know, keep everybody safe and cut down on the trafficking. And,
Right.
You know,
Yeah, but I actually, which probably this is an unpopular opinion, I actually feel the same way about the drug trade. You will never, ever get rid of it.
no.
Why are we spending lives and taxpayer dollars to try to get cocaine and meth and everything else off the streets. It will not happen.
Yeah.
Regulate it, tax the shit out of
That's
it, and hope for the best.
Prohibition did not work with alcohol.
No.
It's not working with
It
drugs.
will not work.
And the men and women of the police departments across this country try their damnedest every day, it's a hard
futile.
job. And you look at countries like Portugal, who completely decriminalized everything, and you do not see you see issues go down.
Yeah.
And I think that especially when it comes to things like meth and heroin and crack, and this may be an unpopular opinion, but we need to approach it as a disease. We need to, instead of having more and more jail cells for these people, we have to have a way for them to get clean and get their life together.
But they have to want to.
They do.
And you
100%
can't force
have
them.
to.
You can't force them.
You can't.
No.
You can't, because then they don't do it.
But I don't understand why, I think it was when I was there, 90% of our court cases were all drug related. This is a waste.
Yeah.
And the fact, that I sit here and think about, I could have lost my life and it would have been for no reason.
Yeah.
It would have been no reason. There was nothing I can do or any amount of law enforcement or taxpayer dollars that's ever going to get rid of the drug trade.
No, people want to get high.
People want it. Leave them alone.
Yeah.
Let them do it.
Yeah.
Quit regulating it. Quit spending money on it. If they want help, provide it. If they don't,
That's it.
that shit will take care of itself.
That's it. Because eventually there are just a subset of people who they're going to try something and chemical reaction, the brain fires up, and I'm done now.
They've got an addictive personality. The other ones will keep doing it.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that I think we need to look at is, the positivity that is coming from legalizing marijuana.
Yeah.
And I think that the financial benefit to the country, what it has done. And I think that that's the same thing with that. And history has shown us, and you try to remove things like alcohol, the prohibition, that actually made a very strong decline in our society. And so figure out how to regulate it, how to make it a financial benefit for our country, and then move forward.
I mean, Colorado's the perfect, example there. They've legalized weed, just weed, not everything else, and they've seen a dramatic increase in revenue.
Oh God!
They have no debt.
I mean, they have a booming tourism business that's
booming
familiar,
business.
or that's attributed directly to cannabis.
Right.
Which is why I really want Florida to legalize
Yes.
cannabis, because we're already a tourist-driven state.
And the elderly population.
Yeah,
they should
man.
be able to have some relief on that.
Yeah.
But, I'm not only talking about weed. If you want to go inject heroin, you know what? You're an adult. Go freaking do it.
Make it safe.
Buy it.
Make
Make
it
it
available.
safe. Use an individual needle.
Yeah, and I don't think people are going to start doing heroin just because it's legal.
No.
I don't think that that's the case.
All you're going to do is protect the people that are already doing it. And then, you know what? Honestly, this sounds bad, but that population will rid itself.
They will.
They will. So instead of us putting law enforcement's lives on the line, we're selling babies and young girls for drugs. Take the demand is there. Remove the supply from where it's at and start regulating it.
Yeah. Certainly, I couldn't agree with you any more on that. There's a way to do it safely that won't harm society.
Yeah.
There just is,
It's just,
and also, you see this, and you see, and there is pushback, and I understand the concerns that people have, and I'm not saying that they're not valid, but, for example, there are countries, and I can't think of what they are right now, but that you can take drugs in and get them tested. Is this okay? Does this have fentanyl in it? Is this, and they're I think there's an organization called S.A.F.E, and that could be wrong, but I know that they would test stuff. Okay, this really, don't take that. That's got this, and especially now in the days of fentanyl. Look, I am 46. My days of partying are well behind me.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to sit here and say I haven't tried some stuff that I certainly wouldn't want my stepson to be trying.
Right.
But nowadays, forget it.
Yeah.
Even if I wanted to.
You
even
can't
if
trust
I wanted
it.
to be let's get crazy. Let's do something weird. It's all so tainted, and it can kill you immediately.
Yeah.
There was a party that happened. This was a couple months ago. It was a group of fairly successful comedians. It was in L.A., and they got some coke, and at the party, 2 people died and 1 wound up in ICU because it was fentanyl-laced coke. And you can't, and we know, as drug lab cleanup company, how dangerous fentanyl is. You shouldn't even be touching it, let alone sniffing it up your nose.
Right.
So, and I get it where it's if you're using drugs, you roll the dice, and it's but maybe we don't need to. Maybe there's a way that we can not.
At what point does the government look and say, okay, we've been trying this way for 100 years. It's not working. Let's do something else.
Yeah. Steve's war on sugar is not working.
Yeah, mine too.
I keep putting more milkshakes in me.
I know, me
thinking
too.
That maybe I'll have that last milkshake will be the last one I
I'm
need.
like,
but no.
this is the last donut, I promise.
But you're
Yes.
right, and it's a cliched saying, but it's like the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, and that is where we're at with the war on drug. What are we going to do next? Like, because this started in the 80s.
It did.
We're 40 years into this war on drugs, and we ain't doing great on it.
No,
So.
it's horrible. And I look back at my time undercover, and the only word that comes to my mind is insanity.
Yeah,
it was.
I would imagine.
It was dumb. It was reckless. It was something that I certainly would never do today. But of course, when you're young like that, you think you're just unstoppable.
Sure.
And I think I had many close calls, and that'll rattle you. And if something would have happened, it would have been all for nothing.
Right.
That's what makes it even worse.
That's hard.
Yeah, it really is. So hopefully, maybe something in our lifetime will change.
I hope so.
I would hope.
It
But
seems like the public sentiment's shifting a bit.
yeah.
And I don't think that this is necessarily a left-right issue. I think everybody's like, there's an issue with drugs. Especially now we look at the opioid problem in this country.
Right.
That hits home for so many people, And so hopefully this will be a moment where we can all reflect as a country and go, let's try a different path.
Let's try something different. Yeah.
I honestly think that marijuana being that stepping stone to say, man, now that we did it this way, it's working. Let's see if we can put other drugs into this same category and move forward.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I really hope so. So, Hey guys, thanks for watching today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything else that you want to hear, please leave a comment below. And don't forget to follow and subscribe. We're on TikTok and Instagram at Crime Scene Cleaning. Have a great day.